Our bull bull is over 1.5 million. Our base is in the $650,000 range, so about tenfold from here by 2030. And there are three big building blocks. Institutional is one, and I would put it sounds like retail distribution, but these are institutional decision makers at B of A, Merrill Lynch, and so forth. So that's one. The second is this is a replacement for gold. So we assume that it's going to subsume 50% of the gold, what would be the gold market, especially as younger people are looking to diversify.
Cathie Wood, the CEO of Ark Invest, predicts that Bitcoin will inevitably experience explosive growth and rapid adoption. Here's why. Cathie believes that Bitcoin will take over a large portion of the gold market, estimating it will account for 50% of its value. This is based on her observation that younger people increasingly want to diversify their investments into Bitcoin rather than traditional assets like gold. Cathie's bull case scenario for Bitcoin sees its price reaching over $1.5 million by 2030, possibly hitting up to $3.8 million. Meanwhile, in an article on Bitcoin.com, Bitwise CIO predicts Bitcoin will skyrocket to $100,000 by the end of this year, despite the recent price dip. Bitcoin's recent market dip offers a distinct opportunity for long-term investors, according to Matt Hougan, Bitwise's chief investment officer. In a recent note, Hougan outlined several factors that could push Bitcoin's value to $100,000 by the end of 2024. These factors include significant inflows into spot Bitcoin, exchange-traded products, the effects of the recent Bitcoin halving, and the expected approval of spot Ethereum ETPs by the Securities and Exchange Commission. With that being said, let's take a look at some clips from Cathie Wood's interview. Please take a moment to show your support by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
We have 4 people at Ark who are working on crypto generally, one dedicated to Bitcoin on-chain analytics. And judging by those, we believe, halfway through this bull market. And halfway doesn't mean we're halfway through the price increase because, at the end of a bull market, prices tend to go parabolic. So we have no idea where that, but we feel very strongly just based on-chain analytics, looking at them versus the short 10-year history, a little bit more than that history, that we're halfway through the bull market. What's very interesting, since the ETFs were launched in January, many people think, all right, the boom, and we've had a very nice showing, David versus Goliath. We're in the fight, and very
Congratulations.
happy where we are. Yeah. But not one major, what we call them wirehouses, like Morgan Stanley, UBS, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, not one has put Bitcoin on its platform yet, a Bitcoin ETF. They're all doing their due diligence. And I think what's going to happen is within the next few months, one will, and it may be not the big ones, it may be an independent RIA like LPL. They tend to move a little more quickly. Once you get one with a spot Bitcoin ETF on its platform, the others will fall in line pretty quick. Our bull is over 1.5 million. Our base is in the $650,000 range, so about tenfold from here by 2030. And there are 3 big building blocks. Institutional is one, and I would put it sounds like retail distribution, but these are institutional decision makers at B of A, Merrill Lynch, and so forth. So that's one. The second is this is a replacement for gold. So we assume that it's going to subsume 50% of the gold, what would be the gold market, especially as younger people are looking to diversify. And then it is an insurance policy. In emerging markets, I just visited El Salvador and had the pleasure of meeting the top officials there, and they are blazing a trail, making it legal tender, and giving their populations or showing the way for other countries to give their
What a brilliant move.
Yes, it is a brilliant. There are two
What
El
a brilliant move.
Salvador, and my mentor and friend Art Laffer, who joined me on this trip, I think is going to be working with that government. It's only a $30 billion economy. Can you believe that?
Wow,
And here
that's
we're
crazy.
talking, and they're being very progressive. They're putting in tax policies that are going to encourage innovation. So I think that's a very big idea. Think about that. El Salvador, the entire country, 30 billion.
Cathie's confidence in Bitcoin is so strong, she even recommends a Bitcoin ETF for her mother's retirement savings. Based on their team's analysis of on-chain data, she believes we're only halfway through the current Bitcoin bull market. However, this doesn't necessarily mean a steady price rise, as bull markets often end with prices skyrocketing rapidly. Now let's get back to what Cathie Wood has to say.
Yeah. Argentina is moving in this direction. We've talked to the economics ministers there. They're not ready to go the Bitcoin route in the way that President Bukele is, but they're moving in that direction. They're thinking about it. And then the other insurance policy is for anyone, and in high net worth individuals, but anyone, as a protection against confiscation of wealth, whether that's inflation or outright confiscation because of corruption. It's so interesting how surreptitiously Bitcoin really got into the hands of 50 to 60 million Americans and has become an election year issue. In fact, for many voters, for many voters, it is the election issue, and that is why for the Financial Innovation Technology Act of the 21st century, so FIT 21, was able to attract 76 Democrats. I think when the Republicans basically turned this into an election year issue, whether accepting campaign donations in crypto or saying that they would protect the right for self-custody. That's a big one. That's a very big one for Bitcoin. And we're very much aligned, even though we have an ETF and that could be a centralization vector. We think both are true. Self-custody for the early adopters and those who learn more about the ecosystem, but then just getting people into understanding what this is, how powerful this movement is. That is the role of a spot Bitcoin ETF, because once you own a spot Bitcoin ETF, you want to learn even more about it. You'll want to understand the risk profile, the return profile. Yeah, we tend not to do 1 year, but if we're in the middle of the bull market, I think the next spur is going to be the platforms putting the spot Bitcoin ETF on it. So, and I do think that will happen this year. We were told by some of our prospective clients, the platforms themselves, that they would need 6 to 9 months to evaluate it. So here we are entering the 6th month. So I would expect in the fall, one or more will put a spot Bitcoin ETF, or many of them, on their platforms. And I think that will be the next swoosh then.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
All they have to do.
I remember in I think it was the last halving, many people, we went through the halving and everybody waited for a pop, and it didn't happen. Well, first of all, it didn't happen because there's a lot of anticipatory buying into it. But I've watched it kind of, gestate, shall we say, and then all of a sudden. So those two could coincide in the 4th quarter of this year. It could be pretty exciting.
All those platforms need to do is spend an hour with Mike Saylor, and I'm sure they'll accelerate their.
Well, maybe not. Okay, they're risk averse, so they don't. And Mike is an incredible evangelist for the space, but that doesn't feel safe evangelism. It has to, I'd like to think that our research, and we've done a number of white papers, our first one starting in 2015, I'd like to think that kind of methodical approach and studying of the subject, and someone like Art Laffer, who he couldn't be more excited about Bitcoin, because for him, he really believes that, the Fed, many people feel that they have managed monetary policy over the years. So, we've prevented terrible things from happening. If you look what happened before the Fed came about in 1913, what happened then is prices were stable. We're on the gold standard. And the economy was very volatile, and you ran into booms and busts, but they were very quick. They were over in weeks. We lead up for years to a crash in 08, 09, poster child for that. And here we are again. We had zero interest rates, and I wonder what the fallout from private equity, private credit, putting enormous sums into real estate and then leveraging it up. We're starting to see the fallout, whether offices
and the post-COVID, right, with the office exodus,
and multifamily now, even in the areas where there's been large in-migration. So the Sun Belt, we're beginning to see multifamily in excess. So we'll continue to see crises, I think. Hopefully nothing like 08, 09. I don't think so. But still, 0% for a very long period of time leads to reaching for yield, which leads to bad behavior.
Cathie predicts introducing spot Bitcoin ETFs on various platforms later in the year. These ETFs will make it easier for people to invest in Bitcoin and understand its potential. Fortunately, more individuals are becoming aware of Bitcoin's significance, as it has become a major issue for many American voters and is influencing election year discussions. The Financial Innovation Technology Act of the 21st century attracted bipartisan support, demonstrating cryptocurrency's political importance and relevance. Now guys, if you're watching this video, you're interested in crypto. If you want to stay updated on the crypto and Bitcoin world, subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It gives the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description to join over 60,000 others and become a better crypto investor. Anyway guys, that's all for today's video. I hope it brings you some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.